Flash season 9 episode 9 just came out yesterday, and it was a pretty good episode. It was decent in my opinion, but I have a lot of things that I did not like and some things that I did enjoy. But overall, it was a good resolve to Oliver Queen as a character, and it was really wholesome to see John, John Diggle, Oliver, and Barry on the screen once again. So starting off, we saw a flashback to the person that Barry fought in season 8 that caused him to remain like 3 years younger, and that's just what I didn't like. That whole fight and villain happened in season 8, so I don't know why you're doing flashbacks to something that was one season ago. I can understand any other length, but one season ago is just not really permissible for you to do a flashback, in my opinion. Secondly, I don't know, this whole Wally's new character and enlightenment and all that is just so weird to me. Like, is he like that in the comics? I'm not really sure. I'm not a comic book reader, but if he is not like that in the comics, I certainly do not want him to be this way in the show. Like, I would prefer he just acts like he did in season 3, just more mature, because his first line of dialogue when Barry walks in after the birthday surprise was, "May your current rotation about around the sun be your best yet." What does that mean? What does that mean? Like, make it make sense. That's just so cringe. Like, that's not even. All right. Anyway, secondly, Barry punching Bloodwork. After Bloodwork shows up, he poisons the drink that they're drinking, the champagne, and then everyone passes out except Wally and Barry. And then Bloodwork shows up, and Barry runs him into a wall, and then he doesn't do anything. He just runs into a wall and then starts to talk. After some time, Bloodwork mentions Barry's future daughter, and then Barry punches him. But I guess they made like a an editing mistake behind the scenes, because it did not appear like a proper punch. You see Bloodwork's head dodge before the punch can actually connect. So meh, whatever. And then after, it turns out that they had already been under Bloodwork's mind control or something like that, and Barry is already knocked out on the ground, and Bloodwork now intends to instead pick on Wally West, who now has the ability to project his consciousness through the Speed Force to other Earths, and he plans to use that ability to spread his own blood cells for immortality across the multiverse. So in his own mindscape, when he is trying to like tempt Wally West, we see another flashback. Basically, Bloodwork mentions how the multiverse is still alive, and then Wally doesn't really believe that, and then he says, "No, that's not possible because I lost Jesse." And then we see a flashback to Jesse Quick and Wally West, and it's just, that's another flashback that I didn't really like, because we already know who Jesse Quick is. Anyone watching the show, I'm pretty sure, knows who Jesse Quick is, and I'm pretty sure we also saw her in season 6 as a flashback as well, or just a mention of her name. So, but whatever, that's kind of like and it would make the scene flow a lot better if you didn't have constant interruptions to the whole emotion and flow of the scene and chemistry between the actors, because when you keep on doing flashbacks, it just cuts the scene in half. That could have been like a sad moment in the show, but you cut it in half when you just showed a flashback to a character that we all mostly probably knew. And finally, from the opening, was just Wally's acting after he has accepted the temptation from Bloodwork, and then I don't know, it was just so cringe. I feel like they could have done multiple takes of that, or maybe just reworked the dialogue that he needed to say, because when he turns around and then he's trying to show his anger and emotion, and he's screaming out the words, it feels as if he's letting out 70% of how much he can really let out, and it's just not fluid, it's not all there. But apart from all that, apart from like two flashbacks that are unnecessary, that was a pretty good to decent opening. And I do kind of like the birthday surprise for Barry Allen. I don't even know how old he is now, but yeah. And moving on towards the half point of the episode, that's when Oliver Queen shows up after Wally stabs him or phases his hand through his chest. And they finally did it. They finally addressed Caitlin's death. and her effect that it had on Barry. I do wish it would have happened a lot sooner though, because it still doesn't feel like a genuine reaction from Barry. We are like 5 episodes late from episode 2 of season 9, where Barry and Team Flash partied in a nightclub the day that he found out that Caitlin died. So to bring it up all again is just so, like it's so delayed, and maybe people can cope differently by pushing it away. But I don't think that's what Barry did. He didn't even push it away. He acknowledged it that episode and legit moved on. And then he slipped up and said Caitlyn instead of Keon in episode 4, I think. And we had no follow up until now, sort of. But yeah, apart from that, I also really liked how they explained Oliver's presence back again. Um, I think it was a really clever and good job. He only shows up when the multiverse is in danger, and since Bloodwork can potentially take over the multiverse through Wally West, that's why he was able to show up. So flash forward a little bit. After a while, after Barry, reveals that he has been struggling with the people that he has lost and survivor's guilt, Oliver and Barry return back to the, human world, and we see Oliver wearing the bow and his suit again. And after they show up to fight Bloodwork, who now has Wally under his control. And finally, Barry finally won a fight against the Speedster, even though it wasn't a proper villain, but I'll take the win anyway. And another thing, this episode isn't perfect. Another thing that I feel like they did improperly was Wally somehow has his Flashpoint memories, which is not possible at all. But you know what? I'll let it slide. It's whatever. And skip a little bit further towards the end after they defeated Bloodwork. Um, I really liked how they utilized the flashback with Oliver and Diggle in the conversation when Oliver mentions how Diggle has been getting tempted by the green bots. In my opinion, that's how you use a flashback. Not everyone knows what Oliver may be referencing when he says the bots tried to tempt you. So you have a flashback to show us what he is referring to when he says the bots, not just showing us a flashback to something that happened 1 season ago on the main show and storyline. So yeah. And finally, my other complaint is just Wally dealing with grief from what I thought he moved on from 6 seasons ago. We had the whole storyline in the duet episode in season 3 when Music Meister takes over um Wally, kind of. No, wait. After the whole Savitar thing, and after he throws the Philosopher's Stone into the Speed Force, and after Wally comes back, he's not 100% himself. And that's because he's still kind of suffering from, you know, his mom or something, like the things that he saw when he was trapped. His mom, I'm pretty sure. But I'm pretty sure that whole episode, towards the end, he got over that. That was the whole point of the episode. He got over that. He became Wally West, the Flash, again. So bringing back something that he got over 6 seasons ago, and I know we probably don't ever move on from that, forever maybe, but to the point where he genuinely believes that Barry stole his life is just unbelievable. It's not really real at that point. He also moved on from Jesse Quick, I'm pretty sure. Um, there should be no reason why he's getting tempted with the idea of Barry living his life, because he should be able to understand that Barry just as much suffered a lot in his own life as well. Barry lost both of his parents and Joe took him in. And, at least it's not a competition, but at least Wally had his own mother and dad alive. He just didn't know of Joe West. But anyway, that was a nice resolve overall to the Arrow TV show and Oliver Queen this episode. And it was really wholesome seeing Barry, Oliver, and Diggle sharing a moment, and also Wally and Iris, which I have been meaning to see in the show for a while. It hasn't been shown much, in my opinion. But yeah, that's about it for this episode review. Peace.